Hello, as promised, the finished tractor unit, which is the M911, and even though I say myself, it looks quite good. It's an older truck, it's a proper truck, there's no doubt about that. As you can see, I've painted the camouflage over the base paint. I've put the transfers on, the decals some people call them, very tiny ones. Mainly tyre pressure ones there, filling lines for the diesel tank. I've put the winch gear on, the fifth wheel, everything's on there. More decals on the side here, again filling levels for the diesel tanks. The mirrors I've changed slightly because they were ever so fragile, the connections. Don't know if I can get it there. Yeah, we've got one there. And what I've done is I've glued them onto the side of the mirror arm there, because I've filed off the actual holders and glued them onto the side of the mirror arm, because the mirror arm itself, the connections on it, it wouldn't have lasted 2 seconds. You only had to flick it with your finger and they fell off. What else have we got? I think I mentioned to you in fact I know I mentioned on the last video, I've put the tubing in for the hydraulics, and I think that looks quite good personally. It finishes it off. You can just about, if I move my hand, see it running underneath the mesh there. You can see it much more easily in real life, but you can see the tubing running through underneath there, and that's exactly what it would do in real life. So these tubes do go up inside this control box, they come back down from the control box, they go underneath you can't see it from underneath here, they go underneath the photo etch there and up onto the bottom of the tanks on both sides. There's another 2 pipes down there. The winch cable I put on could have been a bit more successful with that, I think, but you know, on the scale it's on, I think it's okay. It's there, it looks fairly reasonable. The winch cables, I painted them black first, then I painted them green and rubbed some of the I rubbed some of the black off, then painted them green, rubbed some of the green off. I then mixed up some rust coloured paint and put that on the top, and personally I think it looks really quite effective. It shows up better on the photographs than it does on the video. I watched a video, a guy in America, in the States, and he weathered the tyres by putting them on a socket that was a nut socket that was mounted on a power drill of some kind, so that the tyre spun round, and then simply used a piece of sandpaper on top of the tyres, just gently, to rough the treads up, make them look as though they'd been used. And that was a great idea. Unfortunately, I already had all the tyres on this one, so that one went out the tubes. I won't put the Susies on until I couple it up on the trailer. All the lights are on. There's little lights on the oh, can't see it. Little lights on the back there, working lights for the back. The lights on the front are on, headlights and the indicators. The marker lights and the beacon on the roof are on. The air horns, it's all fairly simple stuff. I've mixed up some rust. Again, it doesn't show up quite as well, doesn't look quite as good on the video as it does on the photographs, but that looks really quite effective, that rust colour there, which runs underneath. As I say, I have tried some rudimentary weathering. I'm quite happy with the results, to be honest. I didn't want it to look as though it had been stood around for years or had never been washed. That's not the normal military way, for one thing. I wanted it to look as though it had done some miles, and It'd been washed several times, but you know, you can't always get a truck completely clean. There's always little bits. So what I've done is I've weathered the chassis underneath the chassis there. There are rust on the drums, on the springs, on the running gear. I've put dirt down the front there and in all the joints. Around the top of the cab where there's the gutter, the old style cab with a gutter on it, that's got dirt in it as it would have. I've put faint rust stains coming down from the diesel tank, and I've also put faint diesel stains coming down from the diesel tank there. On the winch platform, I've weathered it up quite a bit more because you'd have a lot of oil there, have a lot of hydraulic oil and stuff. Weathered that up quite considerably, and again it looks much better on the pictures. It shows up much better on the photographs than it does on the video. But as always, there will be quite a lot of photographs. The diesel tank, again, bit of diesel running down the side of it, and all the tool boxes here. That's a battery. That was a battery box with dirt marks on the seams and on the bolts and on the rivets. And that's about it, really. That's the whole thing all done. I'm quite happy with that. On the next video, I shall start the trailer. So that's the entire unit done. I shall leave that there. We'll start on the trailer at section 29. Any questions, any comments, good or bad? If you'd leave them in the comments area at the bottom, I'd be very grateful. I'd also be very grateful if you've enjoyed the videos or you found them useful, if you could like and subscribe, I would be more than happy. Thank you very much. Ta-ra!